Good afternoon, everybody. DM Geezer Jim here, continuing along in my Dungeon Master Guide series, or Dungeon Mastering a how-to guide, a helpful guide, hopefully for new aspiring or even some of us experienced Dungeon Masters. Um, Kind of wanted to talk about not a sensitive an absolute necessary subject, and how to approach it. Leveling your player characters up. Uh, Two, given first and foremost, how often you do it, that's subjective. There's two recognized systems, and that's what we want to talk about today: experience-based progression or milestone-based progression. Um, Both have strengths, both have weaknesses. Regardless of the strengths and weaknesses, everything is still arbitrary. I want to get that out the front right here. And while we're on the subject, in these new DM series, feel free to ask questions. Drop in the comments. Let me know if you like something, didn't like something, if you need more information. I'm trying to do this to be helpful to the community and obviously to reinforce stuff in my own brain a little bit. But if there's things you need to know more about, hey, I liked this, but can you go into some more detail? I'm happy to do that, whether we're going directly back and forth through the comments or if it's something legit that I missed or needs more time, I'll make another video for it. It's all about providing information, sharing information with each other, and learning from each other. That's the whole goal with this series. Some of the tried and true methods I have, some of the stumbling blocks I've had as I've come back into 5th edition dungeon mastering, from doing 1st and 2nd, and a little bit of 4th, not much. But anyway, leveling. Probably one of the most important reasons that your players are playing their particular character is to grow. While the story is fun, building a collaborative endeavor and engaging in a living world and role playing is fun, the players are doing this to level. They expect to level. The game is built around your player characters advancing in level, so they increase in power to face more challenging opponents and greater difficulties as they progress through the campaign. How and when do you do it? That's a floating question. That's the question that whether you're a brand new DM or an experienced DM that you'll struggle with. Because again, no matter what, it's arbitrary. Okay? Arbitrary means it's up to me and you and every other dungeon master that's being a dungeon master, or a referee, or a game master, whatever you want to use. That's all in our hands, okay? And you'll kind of understand as we go through the two systems. Let's start with first experience-based, okay? I'm gonna see if I can't find something real quick in the player's handbook that's gonna just the chart on leveling. How often does our character level up, right? Summary. Let's get the math going here, right? Shit, why not? Oops, excuse me. Table of contents. It shouldn't vary by class, but no. So there is a chart, and I'll find it here in a second, that tells you how quickly how much experience is needed for the next level. How much experience do I need to move up from one level to the next? I can't believe I'm struggling so hard to find it beyond first level. Is that it? There we go. Yay. I can't pop it out, but we're going to screen share it real quick here. There we go. That way my face ain't blocking up. So to go from 0 to level 1 at 0 experience, my first day as an adventurer, to level 2, it should require 300 experience points. Okay, how much is that in real numbers? Let's just look. Let me just type up ye old skeleton. Okay, our tried and true garden variety skeleton is worth 50 experience points. Okay. Raw and dirty math, that's 6 skeletons for our character to go from level 1 to 2. Not much. 6 1/4 CR monsters. I think, let's look at a giant rat. That's always the fun little thing we talk about. How many rat bites are you away from being dead? And honestly, this is day 1 monster for many, many campaigns. 1/8, 25 XP. So 4 of those, 12. 12 giant rats is worth level 2. Okay, so based on experience, every flipping farmer in your realm, if you're working along an XP basis, should be level 2 or level 3. Number 2, I know we're comparing apples to oranges, but this is something to keep in mind for an XP based system. In order for a party of 4 to advance from level 1 to level 2, that goes to 48 rats. 48 giant rats are going to kill a party in one fight. We know all that. I'm not talking counterbalance. I'm talking raw math. Make the adjustments as you go. Okay. To go from level 2 to 3 is an additional 900. It's not 600. It's not going from 300 to 900. It's 900 more. To go to level 3 to 4, 2,700 more. Okay, so suddenly our rats and our 4 times 27 is 80, 114 giant rats. Yeah, 400, 2,700, yeah. 118 giant rats to get to level 4. Doable. So, I wanted to bring XP up first because that's how most players that are coming into Dungeons and Dragons, whether it be from a video game or another system, track their experience. I killed this much, how much was that worth? I completed this quest, how much was that worth? So experience advancement is tried and true and understood. But the downside is it's something that the players might want to manipulate. You know, think of the old South Park episode. If we stay in the woods and kill 58,242,000 boar, we'll get high enough level to kill that guy. The math works. So if your players are XP driven, if your campaign is XP driven, then you need to provide enough monsters, enough creatures, enough critters, enough encounters over the course of their lives to generate enough experience for all of that. Okay? Now you might go, well, I'll give them quest reward. Okay, how much? Arbitrarily. You're deciding now, I'm going to have them kill 10 of these, kill 3 of these, and if they finish the quest, I'll give them this much XP so they can level. Fair. If they don't complete the quest, they don't get the XP, so they don't level, so they need to go kill some more stuff, or they hit the next zone underpowered. This is all stuff that's in our control. Please don't let me kind of make you freak out or think, oh no, where's the formula? This is stuff that Dungeon Masters that we have to plan around when we decide on our experience system, when we decide on our leveling system. So even though experience seems more fair to your players because they can do the math, they can figure that out. At the same time, it's a very meta way of thinking because your players are going to start knowing the XP value. Not all of them, but I promise you, you're going to have 1 or 2 characters that is going to look up the stuff after they fought and say, okay, well, we killed 16 of these that are worth 50 each. We killed 11 of these that are worth 100 of each. 15 times 50 is going to be 750. Plus 11 at 100 is 1100. So we're at 1650 experience off of that encounter, and we're going to divide that by 4. So we each made 400. Oh, never mind. We made 404 experience of our necessary 2700. Okay? That's something you're going to face as a DM. You're going to have the players that are going to go, they're going to look at the stat blocks after the fight. They're going to look at the XP value. They're going to come back over and look at this chart and figure out where they are along the line here. Why are we not leveling? We killed enough of this. Well, so plan for that accordingly. Either A, if you're going to use an experience-based system, make sure there's enough content for them to kill and no more than, otherwise they're going to get into farming an area for kills. If the only way your players can advance is through killing things to get experience, we're getting them into the mindset of, I hate to use the term, but being murder hobos. Let's get to the next town, find some shit to kill so we can level up. Yeah! Let's get to the next town. That's old school D&D. So, you know, I'm not like, ooh, shame. That's how we used to play. My generation are the ones that coined the term murder hobo. That was one of the only ways to play before we got better at building worlds and campaigns and all of that. So that's where an XP system can fall flat. And again, you can shore that up by saying, okay, well, I'll give them 100 extra experience for bringing, you know, Narth back or whatever. Barthen is rescued, or you can make up quests to give them experience if you want. But that's arbitrary. Okay? That's math that you need to make sure is consistent, because when we're using an experience-based system, when you're using a mathematical system that your players have access to, you need to be very transparent and accurate about it. You're not able to delay things if you need to for story purposes. You're not able to save the party's cookies if they go somewhere where they're not supposed to based on an experience-based system. So that's the caution point that I'm going to put in front of you going with XP base. Your training, I hate to use the word training, but how we teach our players is how they play. So if they know that they can follow a numerical value between what they kill and when they level, that's going to drive their gameplay quite a bit. If you're unable to fulfill those numbers and you start adding quest experience in exploration, oh, everyone add 25 XP to your numbers because we opened a doorway to a new dungeon. That works great for a video game. That's kind of for your player. That's taking the experience of me as a person walked into this new mysterious dungeon and looked at all this shit. It's more like, where's my XP? I opened a door. Where's my XP? You want to be cautious about that. You want to avoid training your players into that mindset to where everything is just chasing the floating XP number that appears as you do this task, open this door, kill that monster, that then feeds into the level. Plus side about XP is it is a fair system. It's not as arbitrary as milestone experience. It's not as arbitrary as that system, and it's a little bit more manageable that you can prepare. Well, that's not true. It's a little harder to manage. The downside is it's harder to manage. Your players can lean into the fact that we have to kill everything to level up, which can then force you into offering quest experience or offering exploration experience, offering experience for completing small tasks to fill in the gaps, which then feed back into that whole feedback loop. Let's unpick every lock in the house. If we got every lock in the city, if I got 10 XP off of that one, shit, I'm going to go unpick every lock and get myself a quick 150 XP. Y'all hang loose. Things like that are to be cautious of. When you're using a mathematical system to be consistent, you have to be consistent in its application. Okay? This episode won't take long, I promise. And it's going to come down to your opinion and your desires. The second method is for milestone experience. Milestone experience is completely arbitrary. It is me as a dungeon master saying, I think my party has done enough to deserve a level, and they need to be another level before they go to the next monster, quest, area, town, dungeon, whatever. Okay? Arbitrary. Timeline driven, progress driven, story driven, however you want to justify it. Milestone experience is me as a dungeon master deciding that the party's done enough, they deserve another level. Okay? The downside is it's arbitrary. Okay? Your party has no control over when you decide to give them that level. They can fight as hard as they can. They can kill everything. They can settle everything through negotiations. It's a floating number. It's a number that your players are unaware of. We're not sure what we need to do to get to the next level. Hopefully the DM levels us soon. That's both the plus side and the criticism of using milestone experience. Okay, milestone advancement. How long have they been playing can sometimes matter into milestone. Success and failure, if you're rewarding them based on certain tasks, or are you giving them levels on where they go on the map? Are you, every 5 bad guys is a 10th of a level, then you're kind of cheating and using XP, aren't you? My whole point is milestone is an arbitrary system. It's completely up to me to decide how and when my players advance. Ironically, I use milestone. I don't use experience. Because the plus side of milestone is you can control the pace of play with leveling. If you need them to go somewhere new, if you're ready to go to the next stage, you give them a level and everything around them is easy to defeat. You can push them forward. The downside of milestone experience is if you're trying to be consistent within your own world and your players hit a rut, a string of failures, a 4-month string of RPs, missed sessions, making no progress in the story, they should naturally not move forward as players. The milestone system is, you see a lot of memes on it. DM decided to play milestone, been 4 years since I leveled. I mean, it's funny, but it can be true. It can kind of be true. So, as a dungeon master, I'm not going to sit here in this chair and tell you which is better or worse. You will find a system that works for you and your players. You need to be aware of the potential pitfalls as well as the benefits of using either system. Pitfalls about the XP system is players can track it just as easily as you can. Players can really lean into manipulating it depending on what you reward them for. If I kill this, I get XP, ergo I'm going to kill all of this so I can get XP. No, what do you mean? I killed 17 farmers. They're commoners. They're worth 10 XP apiece. Give them my 170 XP. Fuck. Because you're being consistent in your numerical system. You can definitely have the guard show up later. You murderer! And they'll probably kill the guard and want 350 XP for killing the veteran now. Well, hell, these guys are way cheaper. These guys leveled me way faster than killing the civilians. Let's go attack the fort. I know that's obviously a little bit silly, but in an extremist view of XP-based progress, but it's not so far out of the realm that we all haven't heard about it and seen the memes that go the other way as well, right? XP-based systems are easy to track, but you need to expect your players to exploit and manipulate them. Milestone-driven systems are easier to control, but they are absolutely arbitrary. It's very easy for players to feel like they're not leveling fairly. I'm going to use one of my campaigns as an example, my Greyhawk campaign. They've been on the cusp of level 8 for quite a while. They're going to win or lose in this last dungeon. They've got enough for it. But they've been level 7 for 3 real-life months. And there's been some grumbling, and that's a long time. To be fair, there's been a lot of missed sessions in there. They've gone back and forth on a raft talking to a bunch of people a bunch of times. They failed twice on their mission. So as a dungeon master, I'm a little bit higher of a level now. I'm like, do I give them a level just for playing now? Even though they failed. They've killed some stuff. But if you look at it, they need 34,000 experience to progress from level 7 to level 8, if we're looking at this chart. They have not killed 34,000 XP each. That times 5, that's 170,000 experience points worth of monsters. Let's just go to, I'm going to, real quick, we're going to go to, oh, no, I'm going to go to monster, sorry. Game roll monster, yay, we got there. Let me just do CR3, and let's just see what CR3, I think CR3 is 250 each. I'm just trying to get a number up so we know. Ankylosaurus, dinosaur. 700, CR3 700, okay. So at, what did I say, 34,000 times 550, 170,000 experience for the party to go at 700, 174,700. 20, 1740 by 7, we're up to 200 and almost 270, give or take, on just quick dirty head math, of these Ankylosaurus. 270 CR3 creatures to go from level 7 to level 8. That's not 270 orcs running across the field at them dying to a fireball. That's 270 CR3 creatures. Probably a little bit more. My math is a little bit dirty. For our party to go from 7 to 8. So for my Greyhawk example, they haven't seen 270 monsters in that time period. They haven't seen but 10% of that. They fought 25% of that. Over the 2 lizard camps, the failure on the first 2 temple, the failure on the first temple, which became a dream sequence, so I didn't TPK them. Yeah, they've probably fought about 40,000 XP worth of monsters each in 3 months. So I'm still going to give them a level. I'm still going to move them to level 8 at the end of our current phase because we're doing milestone. Because in the course of 3 months, wins, losses, fails, otherwise they have not fought 270 monsters worth of CR3 monsters. No shape, way, shape, or form have they hit that much in combat. And dungeon masters think that through. If you're sitting here following along with me and you're looking at this chart doing quick head math for your party, how many monsters is that for each level? So newer dungeon masters, you might be of the temptation to go, oh, that's easy. I'll just give them a bigger monster each time. at a certain point, you're really deep into the monster manual with level 6 players. You've wiped out any sense of wonder, and you're probably nerfing those monsters so you don't kill your players, so you can feed them experience off of that monster so they can level up the next high enough for the next big monster that they shouldn't be fighting. It becomes this death spiral early on. Learning how to balance encounters goes hand in hand with experience points if you're using that. Balance encounters is a must have, but when you use experience point driven leveling, it doubles down. You got to do a lot more math to follow along with it. Less arbitrary in advancement. Milestoning, it's up to you, man. It's up to me. It's up to the progress of the adventure. That can frustrate some players. Again, just to kind of close it out. Didn't want to make a long one. Just wanted to talk about the difference between XP leveling, its pros and cons, and milestone leveling and their pros and cons. Just to kind of close it out. XP leveling, the plus side is it's not nearly as arbitrary on the surface. Okay? Your players know how much XP they need to get to the next point. You can plan for that much XP as they get to the next point. It's not an arbitrary system. Okay? The downside is, you got to go to work?
About half an hour.
So drop DJ off on your way. He's got to be there at 5:02. Thank you. Awesome. Yay. I can finish my video. Sorry, guys. Daughter came home. So that's the plus side. It's not arbitrary. It's easy to track. It's there. It seems fair. The downside is, in reality, it is very arbitrary. It's up to us as dungeon masters to provide enough monsters to meet those thresholds, enough kills to meet those thresholds. And if we're not doing that, then you start trying to reward tasks with XP, which can then lead you down to, I want to roll for everything so I can get XP for it. Or you start getting into rewarding quest XP, which is just as arbitrary. Okay, because if they don't finish the quest, if they fail the mission, they don't get that experience, so then they have to go kill more stuff. So while on the surface it's very fair, it's mathematically trackable. One of the other downsides is also it also encourages meta play by your characters. They'll be looking up the monsters, which is not a bad thing. I love having informed players, but expect a lot more challenges on, hey man, my math says that we earned this much XP. We should be at this point, so expect that. Milestone, plus side, completely in your control. You decide, depending on how much they fought, how far they've gone, what they succeeded at, who they've engaged in conversations, how many successful this, that, or the other, is the combination get them to the next level. The downside is you have no support for that. Other than some certain published modules will provide you guidance saying when your characters finish this, they should be level 8. So that certainly is built into pre-published modules. But for you sitting at home, homebrewing, playing around in the middle of it, obviously the pre-published modules will give you guidance on how to use a milestone system. Trying to do it on your own, you can find yourself stalling in certain places or leveling your characters entirely too quick. It's hard to keep a good pace because the pace of their advancement is based on their pace of play. If the party starts dragging out, if they go off task, if they go murder hobo, either A, you have to reorient and provide them XP for failures, provide them XP for off task, or B, you're not advancing the story, you're not leveling, which can lead to some frustration. Both systems are going to require consistency for you as a dungeon master. When you choose one, don't flop back and forth between them. Even if you're like behind the scenes using the experience points chart to help set up your milestone, that's fine. Just make sure that you're keeping consistent from level 1 to level 20 on how you're advancing. Players can smell hijinks. They're never going to say boo if you advance them quickly. They're going to be, yeah, hell yeah, we leveling. But as soon as they start slowing down, they're like, why do we level? Why aren't we leveling? Why aren't we level? Grumble, grumble, grumble. So yeah, just be prepared for that. You know, as much as we talk about collaborative story building being a major selling point, a major touch point for 5th edition, your players are still here to build characters and get strong. Players are still here to level up. How you manage that's going to have a lot of impact on how your campaign flows. How you prepare for that is going to be directly influence that. So pick a system, try them both out for size. Don't flip-flop between them in the same camp. You know what? Early on, you have to just be upfront with your players. Hey guys, when I first started planning, I was trying to do XP based, but the story doesn't support it. Reason A, B, C, or D, I need to flip to milestone. Alternatively, if you started on milestone, hey guys, I know you guys really don't think that we're leveling as quickly as we are, and that you guys don't really think it's fair. So let's go ahead and flip to experience point system. So moving forward, everything is going to be based on what you guys kill, and leave it at that. Try both out with your groups. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no must do it this way as far as an industry standard goes. Okay. Well, that's not true. Industry standards suggest milestone if you're using pre-published modules. Campaign books put out by Wizard are centered on milestone experience. So that's, if we want to say there's an industry standard, that's going to be it. But again, there's no tried and true method other than what works for you and works for your table. But hey, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close up this episode. Milestone XP is the eternal question, is the eternal debate. There's no right or wrong way, and there is both ways are right and both ways are wrong. It's going to vary for you and your party. And more importantly, as a dungeon master, as you progress, as you gain experience, as you find your own way and your own style, you'll come to determine which one fits what campaign and what play group. The thing I would suggest is be adaptable. Be willing to use both. Be willing to adapt both systems to your game. Make a hybridization of them. Use the experience points to help you balance the encounter and make your characters feel like they're moving forward, but use milestone to drive the story as necessary. Before you can do that, though, you need to run campaigns based solely on XP and then based solely on milestones so you can find that sweet spot for you and your groups. But hey, DM Geezer Jim here. Thank you for your time. Hopefully you found this informative. Trying to give you information without telling you you must do this, and that's kind of the goal here. But handy dandy chart. Make sure that you're aware of this existence. This is Chapter 1, Character Advancement in the Player's Handbook, available in the print handbook or on D&D Beyond, or your choice, whatever media you're using. Dungeon Masters, make sure you have access to this when you're setting up encounters, when you're deciding what to run. Remember that it's not 300 then 900. It's 300 plus 900. We're at 901. We need to gain another 2,700. So to get to level 4, I should have made 3,900 experience to get to level 4 total. Okay, these are additive, okay, on top of each other. So it's big numbers that we start talking about. Big numbers. So keep that in mind when you're planning it. But hey, above all else, focus on having fun. Focus on learning. Focus on communicating and working with your group. If you're trying something out and it's not working for your table, be willing to alter it. If you're trying something out and you feel that it's driving play in a direction that you may necessarily want it, be willing to work with your table and alter it. But above all else, man, hey, thanks for your time. Likes, follows, subscribe, shares, do all the cool stuff. Leave any questions, comments that you have in the down in the bottom thing. I promise you I'll get back with you. Love the interaction. Obviously, I'm over on Twitch Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Running my mouth there, talking the same kind of stuff. Actual interaction time. Would love your support over on my Patreon. Just so you know, I will be doing a major update to the content at the end of the month. I'll have the opportunity to release a lot of stuff I've been working on at the end of October. So both Patreon and Etsy will be updated. So you know, if you want to help support doing all that, you can throw a couple bucks my way there as well. Y'all be safe above all else. Thank you for your time. Have some fun DMing out there, and we'll see you soon.